James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Lewis Sports Network. It is your boy Lewis coming at you with another heavy hitter banger with yet another video. Smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure those notifications are turned on. Make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. So I had to make this video because I've done 2 community posts about this player. And now you're going to hear me give my breakdown analysis of this NBA basketball player that's supposedly supposed to be one of the best players in the game. And that is Mr. Ben Simmons from the Philadelphia 76ers. Nothing personal about Ben Simmons, okay, because this is strictly basketball related purposes only. So let me address to the topic at hand. Mr. Ben Simmons, you were the #1 pick in the 2016 NBA draft, drafted out of LSU. You were originally born in Australia before you came into the United States, yada, 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 right? My issue with you is this, sir. You were drafted #1 overall in 2016 over Brandon Ingram, guys like Jaylen Brown, guys like Jamal Murray, guys like Pascal Siakam. Trying to think of who else is in that was in that draft. Oh, Karis LeVert. So there's a lot of guys in there that are. Oh, Domantas Sabonis. There you go. So you were drafted #1 overall in 2016, and there were a lot of high expectations for you. And people loved the way that you played inside when you were in college, playing at the 4 position when you were playing more to the post play. But here's my issue with you, sir. You missed an entire year because you had an injury that caused you to miss the entire season. So you were redshirted by the Sixers. You come in next year, 2017, 2018. You get J.J. Redick, Joel Embiid starts to play the games that he's supposed to play because also he missed a lot of time with his health. And we always question his health because of the amount of injuries that he has suffered early in his career. You had Robert Covington, you had Dario Saric. Philadelphia was regarded as having one of the most talented teams in the NBA. Remember when Joel Embiid went down with an injury in that 2017-2018 season? Jason Tatum's rookie year, by the way, with the Boston Celtics. What did you guys do? You guys won the last 16 games of the regular season. You finished the season on a 16-game win streak. Stephen A. Snitch goes on TV and says that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to make the NBA Finals. He didn't say it not 1, not 2, but he said it 3 years in a row because of the play of Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons was playing aggressive. The crowd was excited. Sixer fans are really excited about Ben Simmons, and they thought that he was going to be the next LeBron James or the next Magic Johnson. So the comparisons already started early, ladies and gentlemen. Had playoff disappointments. And part of the reason is because of the problem that I'm about to address right now. Mr. Ben Simmons, why is it that you're 5 years into your NBA professional career in terms of years of service, yet you have still not fully developed a basketball game? You have not fully developed a basketball arsenal. You have not fully developed as an all-around player, as a lot of the people in the media have claimed you to be. And why is it that you continuously get pass after pass after pass after pass after pass after pass? To all the dudes out there who have said that they felt that Ben Simmons was overrated for the last couple of years, I got to salute to you because a lot of people probably thought you were crazy. And then there were people who defended Ben Simmons because they were and to an extent, I can understand it because they were looking at it as Ben is young. Give him time. He'll get better. He'll put the work in the off season. He'll put the training in, and he's going to prove it to you on the basketball court for giving up on him so early. It's 2021. The Sixers are right now down 3-2 to the Atlanta Hawks, a basketball team that really did not have expectations coming into this season. Their expectations were not high. They've overachieved, which is why the Hawks, win or lose, they don't have pressure at all. So they're just playing and just pretty much giving it all they got. They had no expectations coming into the season. And if they did, they were very minimal compared to the Philadelphia 76ers. They get Dwight Howard, they get Danny Green in the trade for Al Horford. They were hoping that Tobias Harris could be that third string star to Ben Simmons and Embiid. They think that Ben Simmons is finally going to take that next step, and we're saying that in year 5. If Embiid can stay healthy, he could have a dominant season, which he did when he was on the floor and healthy, and have one of the best plus minuses in the league. You got Korkmaz, you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Matisse Thybulle, And then you get Coach Doc Rivers, you get GM Daryl Morey. So all of these additions, and then you get rid of Brett Brown, you think that you would have solved the problem. Right now, you're down 3-2 in an elimination game and your season's on the line. As I mentioned before, Stephen A. Snitch had picked this team 3 years in a row to make the NBA Finals. Now he comes out and says that the reason that the Sixers won't win the title is Ben Simmons. When I've said for the last 3 seasons that the Sixers are not going to win an NBA title as long as Ben Simmons does not develop his game. He chooses to play around on the perimeter. He chooses to bring the ball up like he's some point guard, but he turns the ball over so much. He gets hacked, so he has to go to the free throw line, and he can't make free throws. And he's too afraid to take jump shots. This is a guy who is an agent for who? What club is he in? Clutch Sports, spearheaded by LeBron James and Rich Paul. And I have to give LeBron credit on this aspect. LeBron James did not have a jump shot coming in, but he took jump shots when he came into the league. LeBron put in the work and got better over time, ladies and gentlemen. He got better over time to where it's difficult when LeBron gets going. He's very difficult to stop, especially if he's hitting his outside shot. But he took the jump shots. And think about this, folks. Brett Brown coddles Ben Simmons. That's why Ben Simmons has gotten away with his play style. He gets passes, he gets coddled by his coaches, doesn't get held accountable, and plays the same way. Another thing that I don't like about Ben Simmons is that he lowers himself when it comes to his expectations. Shout out to G Money, because he said it. Like, this guy doesn't really play with a sense of urgency at all. And my thing is, it's not just the fact that he plays with a sense of urgency, though. He has not improved his game in the 5 years he's been in the NBA. Just think of the guys that I just named from his draft and then from next year's draft. I told y'all that Donovan Mitchell was the rookie of the year. I told y'all, a lot of people, oh, you just hating. Look what Ben Simmons did, this and this. And I said, I felt like he didn't deserve the rookie of the year because he's showing you over time why. There has been really no progression in his basketball skills whatsoever. Just think, Brandon Ingram, better. Jaylen Brown, better. Jason Tatum, better. Donovan Mitchell, better. Domantas Sabonis, better. Even Mild P, Pascal Siakam, better. Look at Jamal Murray, better. That's a good crew of guys that I just said that are better than Ben Simmons when you compare the 2016 and 2017 NBA draft. And I'm sure you guys can name a couple of more in the comment section. There's guys who have defended Ben Simmons, and it's like now they can't even defend him any longer anymore. It's crazy now because, look, this dude missed 10 free throws in Game 5 against the Atlanta Hawks. He only took 4 shots in a 2-2 series tie in Game 5 at home. You had a 26-point lead in where your 2 best scorers, in Curry and Embiid, each scored 30-plus points. Tobias Harris gave you nothing. Ben Simmons, you gave the Sixers nothing. That's a really big problem when Curry is your second leading scorer and you and Tobias Harris did not do absolutely anything. And shout out to Ice Trader Gang and the Atlanta Hawks for coming back in that game, because you got to give the Atlanta Hawks all the credit in the world. Nate McMillan has done a very, very good job. But this is showing me more about Philadelphia more than the Atlanta Hawks. Again, give the Hawks credit. You got to give them credit for the job that they've done. Again, they were not expected to do much this year, and they've over-exceeded expectations. They're like the Knicks. The Sixers, on the other hand, all these additions that you guys made, you get rid of Brett Brown. You guys had championship aspirations coming into this season. Now, you have an opportunity to right the ship and force a Game 7 because that's the best hope. If the Sixers lose Game 6, they blew an 18-point lead in Game 4 in Atlanta. They blew a 26-point lead in Game 5. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? The Philadelphia 76ers should have won the series and be in the Eastern Conference Finals waiting for the Bucks and the Nets, whoever comes out of that Game 7. Instead, they find themselves facing elimination right now against the Atlanta Hawks, who have an opportunity to make the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 6 seasons. Ben Simmons only cares about the lifestyle. That's what I see when I look at Ben Simmons. I don't see a guy who's driven to be the best. I see a guy who's content with playing the way he plays. And I said he looks like a guy that always lowers his expectations or doesn't expect the best out of himself. I remember that 2018 season when they got knocked off by Boston in 5 games. And I remember that game 5 where he only scored 1 point. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen? He scored 1 point in that game 5. I remember coming into training camp the very next year when they got Jimmy Butler in the trade later on in the season. And then they got Tobias Harris, right? In the trade for, I forgot who it was, but, trade from the Clippers. But my point is, how is it? He was talking with Byron Scott and Rachel Nichols on the jump. And I remember that they were close to getting to the conference finals. Ben Simmons was like, oh, we just want to play our game. And he said, we just want to play our game, obviously get better and then see where it takes us. I said, with that talent, you want to see where it takes you? I said, you made it to the second round. And the funny thing is, if Miami had more firepower on their team, they probably would have beat you because they were good defensively. They just didn't have the offense. That told me that the Sixers were trying to win with talent instead of trying to play together as a team. And I blame the coach because all he did was coddle Ben Simmons and gave him so many excuses. And Doc Rivers was kind of doing the same thing until he was like, well, now that they're hacking Ben, I think maybe I should have took him out. I'm like, no kidding, Doc. The fact that a all-star player has to be taken out of games now considering because you can't make free throws and they can hack you, that was part of the strategy that got the Hawks back in the game. And the face that Ben Simmons kept making when he realized that he was getting fouled and knowing that he was not dependable at the free throw line, what does that say about Ben Simmons? Again, he's with Clutch Sports. He cares about the lifestyle of being a professional athlete, but doesn't want to put the work in to be the best that he could possibly be so that he could be a compliment to Joel Embiid. Because Ben Simmons, they need you. They need you, okay? It can't just be Seth Curry one night and Tobias Harris one night, because if it's all those other guys helping Embiid, what does that say about you? They're not the all-star. You are. And even if you put Ben Simmons in the post, folks, how is that going to help if he cannot hit free throws? He does not. Every single time in the offseason, Ben Simmons working on the jump shot. He's training on his jump shot. Local gyms, playing with other NBA players. And in the regular season, it's not even the playoffs. Even in the regular season, he will not take jump shots. It's like he'll shoot 1, 2, or 3 in a calendar year for basketball. So basically, he's looking at it as a way of he can just try to hide his play style and just get away with playing like that and not get any type of criticism. So basically, it's like he needs to be on a team, and this video is going to be length long. But this is going to be, he has to be on a team where he is surrounded by shooters so that the lane is open for him to drive to the basket. With Ben Simmons, all you really have to do is just build a wall. And he's not effective. All you have to do is hack him, hack a Simmons. And he goes to the free throw line and you can't depend on him, especially even late in games. And then you can foul him throughout a game. And if the Sixers are up, and I keep telling you folks, Ben Simmons' play is the reason why Joel Embiid is held back. Part of that is Embiid because he tends to shoot threes. But the problem is with Embiid, as long as Ben Simmons is on the floor, you have to space the floor for Ben to drive. If there's no spacing, Ben is ineffective. He has no impact on the floor. And you cannot tell me Ben is an all-around player when he can't score. His intangibles don't really feel impactful if he's not being aggressive. He's really never gotten better. So you have to stop and think and say to yourself, if Ben doesn't get better, is he even worth staying in Philadelphia? Because now Philadelphia fans are starting to get frustrated and they're starting to see it. For those who called it out a long time ago, salute to you, because you're starting to see it manifest itself more now. I hate to say it, man, but if Ben Simmons is not aggressive, and again, for the Game 5 loss to Atlanta, you could blame Embiid going 0 for 12. You could blame Tobias Harris going nearly scoreless. Didn't hit a single field goal in the fourth quarter. But you could blame Doc Rivers in terms of his adjustments. But the bottom line is I'm looking at Ben Simmons and I'm saying this, man. You were regarded as one of the best in the game according to a lot of these people in the media. Sorry, that's the alarm. You were considered the best by many people in the game. Now, it's crazy that you're even an all-star. And I don't even look at you as even an all-star. I just feel like he's just a player. I mean, he's a good defender, but that's just about it, though. So basically, Ben Simmons is another player that I can think of in the NBA that knows how to tries to manipulate his game as a way to say I'm good, but I'm really not good. And I have people in the media to make excuses for me. Doc Rivers, you can't be making excuses, man. If you need to take a chance, or should I say Glenn Rivers, you need to take him out of the game. I'm not going to necessarily blame Doc so much because this has already been happening since Ben came into the league. But what I will blame for Doc is you helped blow a 3-1 lead with the Clippers against the Nuggets. You come to Philadelphia, and yet it's almost like if it's deja vu again. The only difference was you guys were up 2-1. So not as drastic as 3-1, but you were still in control of the series. You had 2 double-digit leads, and you blew them both. It would be really bad if you had another double-digit lead, you lose it, and then the Hawks beat you while you guys were up 2-1. Then you have to ask yourself, was it really Paul George's fault? And to be honest with you, Paul George did have fault. He did. So we can't sit here and act like Paul George doesn't get blamed because he showed mental weakness when he says that he was dealing with a lot of issues and, the environment was kind of getting to him. That showed he had a psychological drawback. So Paul George does get blamed, and he did break a goose egg in Game 7. But Ben Simmons, there's a reason I'm calling you Brick Simmons, and I should not be calling you that. I want to call you Ben Simmons, but I got to call you Brick Simmons. There's just no way. There's just no way. You have 5 years in the league, and you have players in your draft and players in the draft after that have steadily made improvement in a shorter amount of time than you have in the 5 years you've been playing organized basketball, sir. That's just unacceptable. That's just unacceptable. I quit on Ben Simmons after year 2 because I was even noticing it in year 3 in the regular seasons. This guy wouldn't take it. I remember people making memes. Oh, Ben shooting a 3-pointer. Ben, he hit a 3. He hit a couple of shots. It's looking good. And then at just a certain stretch, he would just stop taking them and just keep trying to drive to the basket. This is the guy who people compared to Magic Johnson, who improved his offensive game as he got older. The guy they compared him to LeBron as baby LeBron, a guy who improved over time as he got older. Yet Ben Simmons, he may still be young, but the fact that Charles Barkley makes a good point. Why is it that some of these guys that make all-star teams take them almost 8 to 10 years to finally get better when they should be trying to do that, when they should be showing growth in the beginning stages of their career? You almost say to yourself, what skill set does Ben Simmons really have? And it's like, you really can't pinpoint it anywhere. It's just crazy, man. So listen, this is a longer video, but I had to address this. Hopefully the Sixers could come back to the series and force a Game 7 back at home. But the way things are looking, they don't get the job done. You're going to have to look and say, is it time to trade Ben Simmons? And to be honest with you, I felt like they should have traded him and kept Jimmy Butler. I thought that losing Jimmy Butler was a big loss because Jimmy Butler even talked about how soft Brett Brown was on Ben Simmons. Jimmy Butler talked about that. That just lets you know how they were catering to Ben. Joel Embiid has been better. And Simmons right now is more of a liability. He's not even a Robin's Robin. That's the crazy part. He's not even a Batman. He's not a Robin. He's not a Robin's Robin. He's just a player. A good defensive player. That's it. That's it. It's amazing to me how an all-star A multiple-time All-Star is arguably the biggest liability in the court, and that's why I arguably call Ben the most overrated player in the NBA. No disrespect, Ben. Hopefully you do get better, but you're starting to make me think that you've reached your ceiling as a basketball player. And that's kind of sad to say, because that would allow, you would have to be on the right team so that you wouldn't get any excuses and nobody will hold you accountable for anything. And that's my problem with Ben Simmons. Doesn't hold himself accountable, and the people who coddle him don't hold him accountable. And that's why he gets away with playing the way he does. And that's why you're going to see failures. And I'm going to say it again. The Philadelphia 76ers are never going to win a championship with Ben Simmons playing the way he is and being a liability. Joel Embiid is the best player on the team, but you have to be able to compliment him if you guys are going to get to that championship level, because you guys are a good defensive team when you play together and play engage. But the fact that you're so unaggressive on the offensive end, you show no skill set on the offensive end, you won't post up, you have to start at the top of the key and start doing your drives. Again, I say it again, not everybody can be LeBron James, because even with LeBron James' LeBron system, LeBron can shoot at the very least. He can shoot and he can get streaky. You won't even shoot. You won't even take shots. And yeah, people will get on LeBron and say he's a horrible free throw shooter. Okay. But Ben Simmons is even way worse than LeBron. Way worse. And that's just pathetic for a so-called superstar / all-star player in this era. That's not a good look, Ben Simmons. So you need to get it together, or the Philadelphia 76ers, they're going to have to get rid of you, son. All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is my longer version video of my community post rant on Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces. Have a wonderful